Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
I can't tell you when's the last time I got so serious about something like this Slapshot remake discussion. And we've had some really good ones coming in here. Jeff in Winnipeg, Camilla says the Baldwin brothers for the Hansons. Wayne in Victoria agrees with my Zach Galifianakis as Denis Lemieux. Denis Lemieux, continuons sa saison. Who would be Dickie Dunn? I feel like Elliot Friedman should play Dickie Dunn. But I think that Billy Bob Thornton is a slam dunk as Reg Dunlop, because this is a very, very important role. This would be the role that might define Billy Bob Thornton's career.
It's the role.
It's the role. And I will go along with Billy Bob Thornton as Reg Dunlop. That's how big of a fan I am of his.
How about that?
And of Reg Dunlop's, and nobody has come close to anybody else.
Somebody mentioned Steve Carell. Steve Carell maybe is Jim Carr.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
He could be Jim Carr. That works for me.
No. The guy whose idea this was in the first place, Robin Wildy, he's watching in PA. He says Liam Neeson as Joe McGrath. Liam Neeson's way too cool to play Joe McGrath. Way too cool.
Somebody mentioned.
John in Winnipeg. John Ohm. Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
As Joe McGrath.
Yeah. Slam dunk.
Perfect.
Oh, how about that? Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
We're brawling this team, and the guy yells over the glass, "Go back to the NHL, Preston, you loser." Can't even say it with a straight face.
It was a good beak when we'd roll into a bigger center. And they'd say, go back to Wynyard. Go back to the NFL where I was making more money and doing that. I'd like to. Thank you very much.
Where I was flying on the charter with the double wide leather suits and the filet mignon.
Yeah, working on it.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
It absolutely is. Look at that. Hello, Canada and Canadian sports fans around the world. Welcome to the RP Show. We're coming in hot on a Monday, episode number 882 of your favorite daytime sports and entertainment talk show. We're live from Ballers Rec Room, the heart of the Dudney Strip. And it's day one for us of Grey Cup 109 week. Darren Moose DuPont is with me. And you guys, you're not throwing a curve at me, but that's the third camera they got going here, Moose. It's
yes.
You're pulling out all the stops, all the tricks. It's a big week.
We got the toys. We might as well use them, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we are in the Queen City. We are in the sweatpants capital for the Canadian Football Championship, and we're going to be here all week long with our good friends from Ballers Rec Room, welcoming down all kinds of sports celebrities from the Canadian Football League, Major League Baseball, probably the National Hockey League, because we also have produced the 10th most NHLers. You know that, right? Of any city on the planet. So it's going to be big fun. And coming up today, we're going to be joined by 3downnation.com insider Justin Dunk. He's Canada's Adam Schefter. Okay, he's going to be with us. The esteemed award-winning columnist Robert Vanstone. The award-winning Rob Vanstone now.
Yes.
Of the Bob Ridley, he's not. Bob's still with us. The Bob Ridley Award for media excellence from the Western Hockey League. RV is going to be with us. And Kelly Remple, where do you start with the Silver Fox, the former manager of Bret the Hitman Hart, CTV fame,
right?
Regina Pats, Moose Jaw Warriors. The man can do it all. So we're just settling in today. This isn't really the dress rehearsal because we are live on Game Plus Television and WQEE Radio in Metro Atlanta, but it's the first of, it's going to be a lot of fun. What are you looking forward to this week?
I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. I think, you look at the guest list we have coming down this week. You look at the event that Ballers is putting on Friday that they've invited us to, and all the people we've talked to that are putting that on their calendars. Like, the list is insane. I mean, every player, coach, VIP, broadcasters. So I think, we talk to them, whether it's the TSN guys and girls and whether it's the players. They all come on the show, and it's so great. but I'm looking forward to seeing them all in person this week.
Well, this is going to be huge for our viewers in America, too. Listen, in 1 week, we'll be broadcasting back from South Florida for ages. This week's going to be all about the Canadian Football League. This show's all about entertainment, and I guarantee you, you are going to be entertained. And by the end of the week, if you don't know who these personalities are, because they're all our friends and Canadian icons, then you'll never be a fan. But I know that you will be. But this is what we call the warm-up. Can you hit the quick six show horn, Director Jordan, and we'll get into a lot of things that we have here in this opening segment that aren't just about the Canadian Football League Championship, which will be played next Sunday just down the road here at Mosaic Stadium. But we got the Hockey Hall of Fame tonight. The induction. We have the NFL Sunday, NHL Sunday, Raptors and Pistons going at it tonight. The Atlanta Hawks. Here come the Hawks. They're at the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. That's a marquee showdown.
Yeah.
Right? And then tonight's NHL slate and Monday Night Football. Can the Eagles stay unbeaten? So we have a lot to get to, but point one of the Quick Six show topics is Grey Cup 109. Winnipeg is going back to the Grey Cup championship game for a third consecutive year. The two-time defending champions defeated the visiting BC Lions in the West Final 28-20 Sunday. Bombers led 19-8 at halftime and limited the Lions' chances in the second half. We'll get to the East Final in a moment, but the game did not have a lot of intrigue. I don't know where you stand on WestJet, as I like to call him, Nathan Rourke. He was grounded. You know, the flight's over for WestJet, and I almost wonder if the NFL talks cooled down after a subpar showing in the West Final.
They might have needed a little extra time to de-ice the plane, you know, before you take off in that cold weather. But you know, he was hot and cold, and admittedly, he wasn't very good early in that football game, especially in the first half. He got it going a little bit in the second half and late, and then we know about the final drive and the tough stuff with the clock management. And I don't know that that's all on him. I think a lot of that is the Winnipeg fans being as noisy as they were. And I think a lot of that goes into prep, too. Not having calls at the line where they need to huddle up. There needs to be hand signals in that final minute, and you just go. But he learned a lot, I'm sure, from his first playoff experience in professional football, you know, in the East Final, or the West Final, I mean. And you're right, the plane was grounded.
So I got one for you. For the BC Lions, you had a great year, 12-6. That they're only going up. There's no doubt about that. But can I say this about Winnipeg Blue Bombers fans? I back them. I back Bomber fans. We've said many times when I left the Riders launched this show, they were the first city to get on board in fan base, other than Rider fans. They're rubbing it in people's faces quite a bit. And so I'm wondering, at what point do we say, okay, your 29, 30-year drought was over, and I'm okay with you celebrating it. They got to stop rubbing it in people's faces.
I know.
When they say act like you've been there before, they have been to the Grey Cup before, you know, so when do they stop? And stop allowing them to do this.
When does 29 years of, you know, that spike, when have you exhausted that, right? I think you've won it twice in a row. I think now you need to, you know, you've been there before, so act like you've been there. Don't rub it in people's face.
That's all I'm saying.
And I'm never a fan of rubbing it in people's face, right?
You've got a name for it.
Yeah, after you win. And
you call it post-game trash talk.
Yeah, the post-game trash talk. I'm not a fan of post-game trash talk. I think the game's over. That's the time to be respectful, be happy, celebrate, go crazy, but don't rub it in people's face.
Poll question today, by the way, for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. Capital has dealerships all across the Canadian prairies and the state of California. Who will win the 109th Grey Cup? And this last I saw, 69% of the viewers are saying the Winnipeg Blue Bombers will win it. And Kevin in Airdrie says, what's up, Clark? What is it? Oh, sorry. From Kevin the Medium in Airdrie, he says the Bomber fans are the new Rider fans. He's saying, you've become annoying. So it's not just me that's noticed it.
Yeah.
Okay. What else do we have here? From our viewers, we welcome him. And maybe I should just keep going. And because it's not viewer takeover yet. The Toronto Argonauts are booking their tickets, by the way, to the Queen City for the Grey Cup. McLeod Bethel Thompson, Macbeth, threw a pair of touchdown passes in Toronto's 34-27 win over the Montreal Alouettes. BMO Field in Toronto looked great. It wasn't full, but it was close. The lower section was full. The game wasn't outstanding. Did we lose Darren? I don't have Darren on my other half.
I'm here.
You're there? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It was not a close game. Neither game was particularly close, really.
No, it wasn't. And I mean, it got out of hand early. And I was listening to Mike Hogan's call on the radio.
Voice of the Argos.
Yeah. Sirius XM driving back from the Hardy Cup in Saskatoon. But it was out of hand early before half. And Montreal kind of hung around going into the half. And then it got out of, the spread became 10 again. They kind of hung around. But they never really threatened to knock off the Argos. And that's just a testament to how good Toronto is. They made enough plays. And at the end of the day, the Montreal defense couldn't come up with enough stops.
Hey, we've got new viewers. Kevin, the medium's son, Jake, is now part of the Rod Squad. How about you got to meet him? He's got blue hair. But that's not because of Winnipeg. He's not a Bomber fan. He has written in and says, way to be classy, Winnipeg. Craig in Calgary says, in any sport, it's great to be a fan. Just don't be an obnoxious fan. So I'm just saying the Bomber fans are right on the edge. That's all. So I'm just saying, think about it. If you want to continue down this road or not. But I'll tell you what, there's enough salt in the Rider Nation to salt all these icy roads. Have you noticed how salty they are? That Winnipeg's coming in here and might win their third straight Grey Cup in this stadium.
Going to be in their locker room. That's going to be tough, right? To be in the Riders' locker room as the home team of the Grey Cup. You've had all this success. And, you look at all the major categories, wins, Grey Cups,
all the big games,
playoff games, attendance, merchandise. They're winning all those battles. I think the Riders still have them in merchandise sales.
How do we know?
But it's a lot closer.
Do you know that?
No, but I think, but it's a lot closer. And if they haven't, it's really close. Now all of a sudden, they're pushing you around a little bit. So your backs get up against the wall. You had it easy for a long time. You were the marquee franchise, and there was no threat by anybody.
They were the belle of the ball
for a while, and now you got somebody banging on the back door and in your backyard now this week. So it's going to be fun.
I don't know. I can hear. Do you hear that? No, you don't have headphones on. I feel like I'm getting an echo back from the studio in the Queen City, but that's okay. I don't know what the deal is. By the way, Kinsman Telemiracle 47 is back, y'all. We're excited to announce the 50-50 raffle is live for Telemiracle 47. It starts with a guaranteed jackpot of $100,000. Of course, the winner takes half. You can go to telemiracle5050.com right now to buy your tickets. They can be purchased by anyone over the age of 19 that is physically in the province of Saskatchewan at the time of purchase. The draw date is Friday, December the 16th. Our first two 50-50 raffles sold over $1 million in tickets to support the great work of the Kinsman Foundation in Saskatchewan. So don't delay. Get yours today. Here's one. We spent a lot of time on the Grey Cup 109. We're going to spend all week on it. But moving on to hockey, point 2, 6 new names will be officially enshrined into the Hockey Hall of Fame tonight. The class of 22 includes Ottawa Senators' all-time leading scorer Daniel Alfredson, Vancouver Canucks greats Roberto Luongo, Daniel Sedin, and Henrik Sedin. Finnish women's player Rika Salinen and the late Herb Carnegie in the builders category. They say that Herb was the best black player to not play in the National Hockey League. So we'll be watching the induction tonight. It's going to be fantastic. I still think Tiger Williams has to go in. There was a petition to get Herb Carnegie in, and I'm here for it. This is very an inclusive, diverse class. That's what they want now in the National Hockey League. But Tiger Williams, I guess, the all-time penalty minute leader, if he's not in now, he's never going to get in. But that's a curveball at you, I know. Tiger, yes or no? What do you think?
He's not getting in now.
You can't. It's too late.
It's too late. It's too late. And I think, we need to recognize all the icons of the game. I think Tiger's still an icon of the game.
It's 11-11, by the way.
Of course it is. Of course, he's an icon of the game, even if he's not in the Hall of Fame. He's one of those players who you'll always remember, will go down in history, but not necessarily in the Hall of Fame for whatever reason, and he's not going in now. It's just
the other night at the Lanny McDonald roast, and I welcome all of the Alberta viewers on TELUS right now in Game Plus TV. I introduced one of those oil guys from Edmonton to Tiger. I'm like, hey, Tiger. Of course, he comes over. He goes, wad of chew in. And I'm like, this is Dwayne. And he owns blah, 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 blah company in Edmonton. And Dwayne laughed. He's like, he didn't have his stick with him. And I'm like, pardon me? He goes, we didn't ride his stick down the aisle. And I'm like, that's what these characters are known for.
Oh, yeah.
But that doesn't matter as much anymore, obviously. Our NHL coverage is for Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Hiring now. Find out everything you need to know about Bronco at broncoplumbing.com and our Facebook and Instagram pages. And guys, tell Camco that we were talking about him at this point in the warm-up. Point 3, NFL, Christian McCaffrey ran for the go-ahead touchdown with 7 minutes and 54 seconds to play. And the San Francisco 49ers beat the LA Chargers 22-16 on Sunday Night Football. And the Minnesota Vikings beat the Buffalo Bills in overtime. And if not for an officiating gaffe, the game might have been won in regulation. The NFL senior vice president of officiating acknowledged there was a breakdown in the instant replay process after a pivotal play late in Minnesota's 33-30 win. We all were watching it. I hope you're all watching it. Interestingly enough, I'm at my brother's place, the farm, yesterday, the Cowboy. He'd rather have watched the NFL than the Jets and Kraken game. I'm blown away by that.
I know.
He was blown. But the end of that Vikings-Bills game was insane.
It was unbelievable, and it's a credit to the Vikings. They've become a team that's a Super Bowl contender. They really have. And with Justin Jefferson, he's maybe the best receiver in the National Football League. And the catch that he made between two Bills defenders, the ball was between two hands of the one defender when he brought that in.
What a game!
What a game! And you're starting to see holes in the Buffalo Bills. The interceptions. They had some leads in that football game, some bad decision-making. So they are not inhuman, and the NFL is wide open, and I think that's what makes it fun.
Parody. I don't know how. I know how it came up. I brought it up, but viewer Don Smith writes in, and he says, Tiger Williams in the Hall of Fame. How about Eddie Shack, the most entertaining player in NHL history? It's not a Hall of Fame for being entertaining. He's the all-time penalty minute leader. That should get you into the Hall of Fame, I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a Hall of Fame for entertainers. Elam Wilson on YouTube says that catch by Jefferson was unreal. Yeah, it was. That was the game of the day. Canada, USA, whatever. It don't matter.
Yeah.
I mentioned that I was at the farm. I was laying in bed last night. My niece she's gone off to college, so I'm in the bed and I'm listening. I'm thinking, listen to that. Listen. You know what it is? Nothing. Quiet. It's the quietest thing in the world. I have ringing in my ear.
Yeah. That's
what I like about being in the city. It drowns out the ringing in my ears from a sinus infection I had years ago. It's so bloody quiet out there. When's the last time you slept at a farm?
Oh, it has been a while since I slept out on the farm. But even going back home to the small town of Wynyard, it's quiet. Everything's quiet. You sit out on the deck, it's quiet.
Yeah, it's great for a while. I just can't do it long term.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's been a good respite. By the way, Ballers, Rec Room, and Twisted Tea is hosting the biggest party during Grey Cup week, featuring players and the Grey Cup. Get your tickets today at eventbrite.com. Ballers proud to announce that Charleston Hughes will be at the party along with Greg Zahn. What other names, guys, should I tell them right now?
I can.
Who? You?
I can tell you.
Go ahead.
Sean Lemon is coming. I can tell you
Lemon
the
drop.
CFL and TSN crew. All of them are coming.
Kate Burness, Matt Dunnigan.
Oh, yeah. Rod Smith, Glenn Suter.
Milt the Stilt.
They're all coming. They've all told us they're
and
coming.
Bruce Cahan, I heard.
Oh, yeah. Of course. So it's going to be great. Sean's coming. They're bringing a lot of friends. And I'll tell you this. They're hoping to entice Nathan Rourke to come because he's up for a most outstanding Canadian.
Ooh,
so that would be cool.
Can you imagine?
There are less than 150 tickets available left. So you got to jump on them quick because they'll be gone soon.
Okay, Moose, I don't know if you're going to be back on again or not. So
I might not.
Thanks for all of the work here today.
You're welcome.
Rob Vanstone. Finally, we can say the award-winning Rob Vanstone. Right, RV? Yeah. One, he said. Will be here with us next. We can talk about Blake Wheeler scoring at 19 minutes and 55 seconds of the third to tie the game, and Mark Scheifele scoring in overtime for the Jets to win at Seattle. He's the biggest Jets fan I know in this town. We'll talk about that, obviously Grey Cup and everything else. When RV joins us next, live from Ballers Rec Room, it's the RP Show on Game Plus TV and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might injure your back in a way that causes nerve damage or partial loss of mobility. Take safer steps with WorkSafeSask.ca.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might hit your head and cause a lifelong injury. Take safer steps. Learn more at WorkSafeSask.ca.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
That is the place to be. The hottest spot during Grey Cup week. Ballers Rec Room, right in the heart of the Dudney Strip. Not much has ever happened on Dudney. Right, Rob Vanstone? Let's bring him in from the Regina Leader Post media columnist. How you doing, RB?
Not bad. New Year's Eve, 1986, 1987. I think is the only time I ever went to the Dudney Strip when I was in part of my journalism class. We all went out for New Year's Eve, and my memory is that everybody was out the dance floor except me because nobody wanted to dance with me. So I sat on a table by myself while everybody else at 11:58 p.m. was enjoying the arrival of 1987.
Well,
so I'll try to get through this session without quivering.
Or breaking into a dance. Yeah, Nashville.
The demons are back.
Nashville has Broadway. Las Vegas has Las Vegas Boulevard. And the Queen City, it's Dudney. So this is going to be where all the action is for the 109th Grey Cup. And by the way, just from some of the viewers here, Stephen in North Dakota says, will Regina get an NHL team before Saskatoon? Or CFL, Halifax get a CFL team? None of that's ever going to happen. The NHL's never coming to Saskatchewan. So stop it. Although, change my mind. Do you think that there will ever be an NHL team in Saskatchewan?
No.
No, there won't be.
There was that glimmer of hope in 1983, and that was as close as it's ever going to get.
The St. Louis Blues. Singing the blues. John in Winnipeg says, Rod looking great with the horses on social media. And Navy Dawn says, your picture with the horse. Classic Rod out of his comfort zone. Yeah, I don't really care for being around horses or livestock. They scare me. I don't really care for manual labor. That's why we sit here and talk about
You're a farm boy and you don't want to be around a horse?
That's why I left, my man. Yeah. No, I was sitting out there doing work with my brother and his wife going, this is why I left. Love them. They love, that's work. This ain't work.
There's rodeo in your family and you don't like being around horses.
Nope. Is that okay?
No, absolutely.
So, yes, it was great being on the farm, and I appreciate my brother hosting me and his wife for a couple days, but glad to be back in the city.
You've offended every horse who is viewing today, though.
I've offended everybody. So, and your dog, too, apparently. Candy hasn't
Candy's not here today. I wasn't sure if she was welcome in Ballers Rec Room. So I wasn't sure if I was welcome in Ballers Rec Room, but didn't make it in here.
You say it's your seeing eye dog. Take her everywhere.
I'll just use a therapy dog. She's done more for me than anything. I'm wondering how much I can pass her off and get her into places that dogs ordinarily wouldn't be allowed.
We're going to get around probably to the Winnipeg Jets and so forth. Why wouldn't we? But it is our first show of Grey Cup week, and Rob Vanstone, great enough to come down and join us here. So, tell me about it. Grey Cup 109, Toronto, Winnipeg. How are we feeling about the week?
It seems to be pretty blah around here today. I think it'll liven up once the teams arrive on Tuesday and once the festivities get going on Wednesday. I think, and once the Dudney Strip becomes the world-famous Dudney Strip that it is reputed to be, I think people will get into it. Right now, it's like it's either Andrew Harris or the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They're going to win a Grey Cup at Mosaic Stadium. And for Rider fans, it's like, would you rather get hit by a truck or a bus? And but I think once it gets rolling, I think it'll pick up. I wish. And now the Argos are probably going to win, but I think there's...
Why? You say that?
It's not the most lustrous matchup in the world, despite the fact that Andrew Harris is playing against his former team. I think if you had two teams that were legitimately perceived to be the two best in the league, I think the matchup itself would create more of a buzz. If the structure was such that Winnipeg was playing Calgary for the Grey Cup, that Winnipeg was playing BC for the Grey Cup, that might get people more excited. You know, they had a decent attendance in Toronto yesterday, but people in Toronto don't really care about the Argonauts. So the nation as a whole really isn't going to get behind this one. Or the community as a whole, I don't think is really going to get behind this one because it's just not a marquee matchup. And I think it's an intriguing
one. What would be?
Basically, to pick two Western, to pick two of the top three teams in the West.
If there'd been a crossover.
If there's something like that had worked out, or if it was just if they just went 1 through 6 as far as teams making the playoffs and abolished the divisional format. I think this is one of those years where the divisional format, I think, detracts from the intrigue leading up to the game, because I don't think, at least in terms of numbers, I don't think you have the two best teams in the league playing.
By the way, I should have tweeted this because I thought about it last night. The opening line for the 109th Grey Cup, which is Canada's Super Bowl. Who do you think's favored and by how much? Because I nailed it. I was off by 0.5 points last night thinking about it, and I forgot to mention it on social media.
Bombers by 4?
Yeah! That's what I was saying.
Really?
It's 4.5.
Oh.
At betregal.net. Yeah, the exclusive betting partner and sportsbook of the Canadian Football League and the RP Show. Winnipeg favored by 4.5, which you've installed as 4 points. So do they cover, RV? You just said you think Toronto will win.
No, I was being facetious, and then I was writing off the Argonauts so readily that they'll probably win. Although they have tended to win when nobody really expects much of them. The Doug Flutie teams of 96 and 97 accepted, but you look at 2004, Argos were an underdog. They were certainly an underdog against Calgary in 2017, and they ended up winning it. So they've tended to pull these off when nobody's really expected it. But Winnipeg is such a meat grinder. Unless there is a serious problem with Zach Collaros' ankle, I'm not sure that 4.5 might, or 4 or 5 might not be the difference in each quarter.
This isn't probably fair. Viewer Todd Pinkney writes in, he says, all of Toronto woke up this morning and it's the same day. 3/4 of the city still doesn't know they have a CFL team. Let's not go down that road and be negative. It was a nice crowd at BMO Field, nearing a sellout on Sunday for the Eastern Final, and their team is in the Grey Cup, so whatever. For those that do love the Argos, they're very excited this week. And again, I think, RV, since I've seen you live, as a matter of fact, this is new. We're on the air in
I'm
Atlanta.
glad to still be live, too.
Yeah,
I'm getting old.
we're on the air in Atlanta, WQEE, and I said to our Atlanta listeners all week long, it's going to be CFL Championship, Grey Cup talk, so get used to it, and we'll sprinkle in some of the other talk, like, for instance, the Atlanta Hawks are at the Milwaukee Bucks tonight, the Raptors are at the Pistons. I just feel like Toronto isn't really part of this country. And the people in Toronto don't even care or know that the rest of us think that. Do you have that thought or no?
My wife's from Toronto, so we've been out there to visit, and there have been times that people look at me, I'm not going to speak for my wife, but they hear we're from Regina or I'm living in Regina. It's just like, why? I love it there.
Yeah.
And then I find that people tend to grumble about their way of life in Toronto a lot more than we do in Regina. And I don't for a second want to paint everybody with the same brush, but there just seems to be I've detected at times a bit of a looking down the nose at those of us who have the temerity to live in Regina. I've never lived anywhere else except for 101 days in Lloydminster, and I would never want to live anywhere else, even though it's winter already.
So the Canadian Football League Championship will be played here on Sunday in the most beautiful stadium in the land. And as far as us personally, beginning 1 week from today, we'll be back in the United States talking about fun things down there, like the National Hockey League and the Panthers and the National Football League and the Dolphins, who are rolling with Tua, and the bowl season will be starting in the high school football. But for this week, we're here for CFL talk. And I keep dangling the Winnipeg Jets talk, and we will, because it was a huge win for them in Seattle on Sunday, and I watched it. But you must have seen the news conference with Zach Collaros after the game regarding his status. They're not even going to play around with this. He's like, I'm starting. It's not even a question.
Yeah, and if there was any question, the Bombers would do their best to obfuscate anyway. You're talking about a Mike O'Shea coach football team, and he's loath to talk about injuries if somebody has a groin pull in week 2 of training camp. So any frank discussion about the ankle of the starting quarterback going into the Grey Cup were to be an issue, I think would quickly be sloughed off. But Zach was pretty unequivocal after the game as far as him playing, and we both remember Wes Cates playing in the Grey Cup game in 2007 with a foot that
a broken
really
foot.
required elevation as opposed to playing in the game, and in the West Final that year too. So if a running back can do what Wes Cates did, I'd see no reason why Zach Collaros, especially being the gutsy competitor he is, would not play.
Yeah. We know for a fact that Mike O'Shea likes his gamesmanship. You viewers, refresh my memory. What was the thing that O'Shea said? It was at the start of last year, wasn't it, when he said Andrew Harris, he had a doctor's appointment. That's why he wasn't here today. We're like, come on, it's a pro athlete. You can't get an appointment not around practice. And it wasn't shortly after. I don't think he played again. So what I'm saying is I'm shocked they're not using this as a ruse, this ankle. It's a Grey Cup week, man. It's a championship.
Yeah, I mean, coaches will look for any edge they can find, but at some point, you just know. Look, Zach Collaros being the player he is going to play in that game. There's just no doubt. There is no option. Now, is he 80%, 90%, 100%? As long as he's not 30%, it probably doesn't matter. Zach Collaros is going to play in that game. You look at what he has overcome. You're not going to keep him out of this game with an ankle injury unless it's severed.
75% of our viewers are saying the Winnipeg Blue Bombers will win the 109th Grey Cup, and wouldn't that be something if it was their third consecutive? I'm going to try and limit this to one comment per commenter throughout the show just so they don't take it over, but just one more from Stephen in North Dakota. It slipped off the page here, but he said, Dinwiddie. Something about Ryan Dinwiddie. And I'm like, he is the Rodney Dangerfield of the Canadian Football League, and maybe Pinball Clemens too. They're the coach and GM tandem of the Toronto Argonauts. Everybody's talking about Winnipeg. Argos back-to-back first-place finishes under this guy that's only coached 2 years, Ryan Dinwiddie.
A nice situation to be in, too, because all the pressure is on the Bombers. They're basically the de facto home team, too, because half of Manitoba is going to be here by Sundays. So, it's easy to dismiss what the Argos have done. I think a lot of people in Toronto just dismiss them because they're the Argos. But you look at what Ryan Dinwiddie has done as a first-time CFL head coach, and it's a nice job. There was a lot more criticism of him last year than this year, but he's got them playing their best football at a very opportune time. And you never know when somebody hasn't been a head coach before how they're going to do once they get to that stage. And I don't think there's any more there's any, and McLeod Bethel Thompson, I think, too, falls into that category. That's a quarterback who in last year's playoffs did not play well, and it faced a lot of criticism, and a lot of it was self-inflicted. And look at the way he played on Sunday, and look at the stage he's going to be on. So I think there's a lot of that with the Argonauts this weekend. A lot of them can make the case with some validity that they've been disrespected or disregarded.
As we're watching just on the highlights on the television right now on TSN, highlights from the games yesterday, and Zach Valeros, everybody's talking about it. And a word from our sponsors here, Ballers Rec Room. They will be open for lunch Wednesday, Thursday, so come on down. You can watch the show. We are 11 to 1 Central daily. We do have some live viewers that have come in today, so you can message the crew here at Ballers, and maybe they will, on an individual basis, allow you in Monday, Tuesday to watch the show. But on Wednesday, Thursday, you can come down, have lunch, and watch the program. We're going to take a time out, and when we come back, we'll talk about the Winnipeg Jets, because they are hot. Big win in Seattle yesterday on the heels of the loss at Calgary on Saturday night. We're brought to you in part 2 by Ito Japan. Delicious Japanese-inspired meals and snacks made to order with high-quality ingredients. We'll be back to Ballers Rec Room in a moment. The first of our week-long shows from the 109th Grey Cup. You're watching on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and your home for Southern Sports and Talk, WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Casinos and suites.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might fracture your wrist, resulting in a lifetime of painful arthritis. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina. And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM-certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big, and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might injure your back, resulting in partial loss of mobility. Take safer steps. Find out more at WorksafeSask.ca.
902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
The leaves are gone, but the football is not. Mosaic Stadium is the site of the 109th Grey Cup this Sunday. Toronto Argonauts will oppose the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Just ahead of more with Rob Vanstone. And man, is this going fast. The sports update on this Monday. The Prince George Cougars spotted the Vancouver Giants the first 2 goals of the game Sunday, then stormed back to defeat their WHL rivals 6-4 at CN Centre in Prince George to split a weekend series. In Saskatoon, Jaden Ween scored twice as the Saskatoon Blades defeated the visiting Regina Pats 5-2, but Connor Bedard scored for the Pats. How many in a row has he got points in? Is it 19? 19 for Connor Bedard.
He was blanked in the opener, and then
every game
hat trick the next night, and away you go.
And the Toronto Raptors will be trying to snap a 2-game NBA losing streak when they play the Pistons in Detroit tonight. The Raps blew a tire in the fourth quarter Saturday, lost 118-104 to the Indiana Pacers. The Atlanta Hawks, by the way, are at Milwaukee tonight. As far as I'm concerned, that is the marquee game.
Love Trae Young.
Isn't he something?
I love watching Trae Young.
Somebody said to me the other day, who's Trae Young? I'm like, how do you not know who Trae Young is of the hashtag True to Atlanta Hawks? The man knows his stuff. By the way, a word from our sponsors, Landmark Cinemas. In theaters November 23rd, the movie Devotion. An aerial war epic based on the best-selling book of the same name tells the harrowing true story of 2 elite U.S. Navy fighter pilots during the Korean War. Their heroic sacrifices would ultimately make them the Navy's most celebrated wingmen. Again, Devotion in theaters November 23rd.
I miss the old Atlanta Hawks with Dominique Wilkins and
Craig Elo?
John Drew, Sweet Lou Hudson, Dan Roundfield.
It feels like another time, doesn't it?
It really does.
Craig Elo was my favorite. But I've been promising this for our Winnipeg viewers, and it's not just Bomber talk. Blake Wheeler scored at 19 minutes and 55 seconds of the third period to tie the game, and then Mark Scheifele scored 54 seconds into overtime as the Winnipeg Jets knocked off the Seattle Kraken 3-2 Sunday in the NHL. Scheifele had 2 goals for the Jets, who improved to 9-4-1, and our boy Jordan Eberle scored for the Kraken, who slipped to 8-5-3. Did you watch?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And,
the whole thing?
Yes, and was losing hope. Especially Jets' second game in as many nights with a flight in between. I didn't hold out a lot of hope late in the third period, but
great game.
Blake Wheeler with his 300th career goal had other ideas, and then the overtime winner by Mark Scheifele, who looks like a different player compared to last season.
If my brother doesn't mind, and he's not watching now because he says he doesn't have time during the day, so I don't think he is. We're watching the game together in the farmhouse, and when Scheifele scored, he banged his leg and goes, and that's why they can't get rid of him. Because he snipes. They're not, and even Kevin Sawyer said it. His gift is offense.
Yeah, I mean, even in a bad year last year, look at his offensive totals, and you don't think that that's a bad year. His bottoming out is what 99% of the players in the league would aspire to. So there was something there that just needed some refining. I think they just needed a different vibe in that dressing room. I think the same applies to Blake Wheeler too. Look at the way he's playing with the captaincy removed, and it'd be so easy to sulk and pout and whatever. But Blake Wheeler is standing up for his teammates like he did when he did have the C on his sweater, and I think it's so admirable what he's doing after kind of being singled out during the off season. He's just taken it upon himself to play the same way and be the same guy. And I'm not sure that every athlete in that situation would do that. So you look at how Wheeler and Scheifele coming out of last season, both were perceived as part of the problem. Mm-hmm. And I think there was a lot of expectations on the part of many, including myself, that neither of them would be with the Jets once this season opened. Well, if they don't have Wheeler and Scheifele last night, they don't win. If they don't have Wheeler and Scheifele this year, they're not 9-4-1.
Or maybe Rick Bonus.
Yeah, Rick Bonus, and that has been a bonus. Thank you, Dallas Stars, for that gift.
From Navy Dawn, he says, I watched the highlights of the Jets win. I was catching my flight in Calgary. Go, Jets, go.
Well said.
It was just a fun game. And Seattle worked hard, and I turned to my brother. I said, the Kraken have more Saskatchewan players than anybody else in the NHL. And he's like, yep. I don't know why the Kraken don't have more fans here, but The one great thing about sports, RV, and you and I have been in it our whole lives and known each other a real long time, it's fun to sit and talk about this stuff, but I don't put a ton of stock in to everything that I hear. Like, I don't think the Jets have completely turned the corner yet.
No, let's see how it is in February and March.
I don't think the Flames have given up on Daryl Sutter
no.
either. You know what I mean? But you hear that. You do hear that. I don't know if you hear that.
Yeah, but it's hockey in November, and there is so much runway ahead of everybody. So, I mean, you don't have to go back many years to where it looked like the St. Louis Blues were hopeless, and they ended up making a coaching change and winning the Stanley Cup. And at one point, it didn't look like they were even going to make the playoffs. So that is how much is ahead of everybody. But it sure is encouraging to see the Jets respond as they have. That doesn't mean it's a panacea and everything's smooth sailing ahead, but 9-4-1 is certainly nice after the way basically the last everything had gone since midway through the 2017-18 season. So.
And by the way, after the Tanev goal last night, I was thinking if Hellebuck gets hurt, this team's screwed. But big save Dave stayed in the game and they rallied to win. So it's not just on the goaltending. By the way, I'll finish this segment with RV talking hockey and we'll slip back to football. Jake Hughes watching in Airdrie says, have the Vancouver Canucks given up on the season? Somebody wrote in here early and said the Canucks are tanking to get Connor Bedard. They got speedboated in Boston yesterday. I think it was 5-2. Here it is. Viewer Eric Thomas says the Vancouver Canucks are tanking to get hometowner Connor Bedard. See, it's again, that stuff you hear. Do you actually believe that they're tanking?
If it was a situation where, like the NFL draft, where if you knew if you finished last overall, you would get that player. You might
believe it, yes.
But in a lottery situation, if you were to basically sabotage an entire season for a maybe,
I can't.
I just can't see it. It just strains credulity to think that a team would do that in a situation where you don't automatically get the number one pick.
Okay. Can you tell me what to do about? Do you handle listener complaints at the newspaper?
Oh, absolutely.
Or reader complaints?
Yes.
Okay.
Routinely.
So I'm starting to get my mind around this.
It's my career.
Where's Moose? He's talking in the back. Listen, this lady Lana in Prairie City, Illinois, has written in again. You don't need to come on. I'm just telling you this. She says the same thing happened just now. The heat of the night was on, and then it switched over to your show. I think there needs to be some communication between the shows. This is ridiculous. She's in Prairie City, Illinois.
Oh, no.
She just wrote in.
I didn't know there was a Prairie City, Illinois.
I didn't even know there was. But we treat her with respect. She's a customer. But she's complaining that we are knocking In the Heat of the Night off the air. Carol O'Connor.
It's not cutting our show off.
Well, we're good with that. It's putting us on. She's like, this is ridiculous.
Hell yes.
You know what?
Didn't that have Carol O'Connor in it?
Carol O'Connor, the Heat of the Night, yeah. Call Ballers and ask for Kelly, and he'll deal with these issues on Game Plus TV. What can I say? She's mad that we come on in the middle of the night to preempt In the Heat of the Night in Prairie City, Illinois. We're very big in Prairie City, Illinois.
How does it play in Peoria? So, we used to get complaints if wrestling. I think Stampede Wrestling used to be on every Saturday at 1 or 2 or whatever. I basically scheduled my life around it. If for any reason Stampede Wrestling was preempted, we'd get calls at the newspaper saying, "Why isn't wrestling on?" Well,
Call the newspaper.
I don't know. Is it? Well, it's in your TV listings. I know, but the TV station made the decision.
Don't even want to answer the phone after a while, right?
Saturday afternoon used to be the best place for
a ring-a-ding-dong dandy.
If I was in the office on Saturday afternoon, I would field Hall of Fame calls from people that I just would not have fielded at any other time. People think Mondays are the bad one. It's Saturday afternoons.
Agreed.
I don't know what it is about Saturday afternoons.
We'll be back more with the esteemed and award-winning Robert Vanstone in a moment. We're live from Ballers Rec Room in the heart of the Dudney Strip, our first of a week-long Grey Cup special week here on Game Plus TV and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might injure your knee, leading to joint damage or even a permanent disability. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
Your family needs a break. Delta Hotels Saskatoon welcomes you to our newly renovated hotel and water park. You deserve a vacation close to home. Enjoy world-class hospitality and upscale surroundings. Rediscover Saskatoon. You can enjoy time away from home right in your own city. The kids will love the water slide. Delta Hotels Saskatoon downtown. All the essentials and then some.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
How about that? We are live from Ballers Rec Room. It's our first of 5 special Grey Cup week shows, and we've got the great Rob Vanstone with us here live from Ballers Rec Room. The biggest party of Grey Cup, as it turns out, is here Friday night. Twisted Tea. Grey Cup itself is going to be here. CFL Stars. Don't you dare miss it. Couple messages from our viewers here. Ken in Saskatoon writes in. He says, good to see you back in the rectangle. See you Thursday morning. We'll be part of the live audience at the show if it's allowed. Signed, Ken and Irene. And the boys just gave me a thumbs up. Indeed it is. From Sean, he is watching in Vancouver, BC. Where's Candy? Rob Vanstone looks naked without her. LOL.
How about that?
Candy is at home with my wife, Chrysula. I wasn't sure that the dogs were admitted at Ballers. And even if they were, I'm not sure sports writers are admitted. So the dogs are a much more higher being than a sports writer. So I was just happy I got in.
Well,
could I have brought her?
Absolutely. Service dog. Like we said, I was up on the bar taking a photo of the whole place earlier before the show, and it is Grey Cup week. I said to one of the owners here, Kelly, I said, I'm sure worse things have been done here than somebody standing on the bar taking a picture. He's like, yep, and I've seen it. it's going to get pretty crazy here this week in terms of Grey Cup festivities, and that's fantastic. The viewers are saying literally, where is Candy? Like, they want to know where she is. Is she okay?
Well, she's more well-spoken than I am, too. She's fine. She's probably snoring on the couch right now. So
okay, perfect.
And whimpering and whatever little doggy noises she makes. I love her.
Casey Jones on YouTube watching says, I'm coming in late, but I'm watching from the start. As a Bomber fan, I totally agree about the rubbing it in. But try not to tar all Bomber fans for the loudly spoken few. Some of them are just trying to defend. We were saying earlier that I've been all about Bomber fans celebrating. It's been 29, 30 years of getting it out. But at what point do we say, okay, now you're not winning with class? Because there's a little of that. They're rubbing it in the faces.
But, Rider fans, when they had what you've referred to as a decade of decadence, especially 2007 to 2010, there were 3 Grey Cup appearances in 4 years, and Rider fans they exhibited some of the traits that we're now seeing in Bomber fans. And when you've been, I think, kicked to the curb for a long time, and the Rough Riders' history is not glorious when you look at championships. I think when you have a chance to revel in it, there's probably the unsuppressible inclination to maybe overdo it a bit. That's totally fine.
You do what you want. It's inciting a lot of fights, and for heaven's sake, we don't want that. I mean, just having Theron Fleury on the show last week incited more. He's a friend, by the way. I think people felt that me having him on the air was somehow endorsing his views, and I wasn't doing that. But you've known Theo for 40 years, man. How can you not love Theo? You know.
Some of the things he did as a player, I still talk about. Between the stick, when people weren't doing stick between the legs goals, he did it against Stacey Nicol of the Regina
Number
Pats
29
in the 1986 playoffs in a totally meaningless game because they had a 10-game round robin, and it was the Pats' final game of a 10-game round robin. They'd already been eliminated from the round robin, but Theo Fleury made that game memorable with the stick between the legs goal.
What a terrible idea that round robin was. They did it 1 year, remember?
Yeah.
No, we're not doing this.
10 games. And there were teams that, especially the Pats, so I think the Pats won 1 game in that round robin. So there were 2 or 3 games left, and they were already eliminated from the playoffs, in which they are still technically competing.
2 minutes with you, RV, before we let you go, and you're going to have lunch with another good friend of ours, the Tom Cochran doppelganger, Trent Fraser.
Love Trent Fraser.
I read everything you do, tweets and your columns, and you say this has got to be Bo country. So what do you think? Bo Levi Mitchell needs to sign in Saskatchewan, RV's saying.
I mean, there is not an ironclad case in favor of it because there's a reason why the Calgary Stampeders benched him. But what ultimately happened is the Rough Riders put themselves in a situation where there isn't a wealth of alternatives. There isn't looking back to 2000, let's sign Henry Burris as a free agent. There isn't that situation. There isn't even hey, let's sign Kevin Glenn.
Last minute of play in hour 1.
Any alternative that you're looking at for a quarterback is going to have some question marks beside it, whether it's Bo Levi Mitchell, whether it's Vernon Adams, whether it's any of the quarterbacks that aren't starting or defined as starters somewhere in the Canadian Football League next year. That's the pool of quarterbacks the Rough Riders have to choose from. Some may say groom a young quarterback. Ideally, yes, but when you've got a regime that is in the final year of its contracts, in the case of Jeremy O'Day and Craig Dickinson, they don't have the luxury of patience. They've got to win next year, and that's been the mandate from Craig Reynolds. So because of that, you've got to bring in a veteran quarterback. And every veteran quarterback in the market has question marks beside him. I think Bo Levi Mitchell has fewer than some of the others.
It's got to be Bo. RV, have lunch. Have a great lunch, and say hey to TF for me.
I absolutely will. Thanks for having me, Rod. And next time we'll bring candy.
Thanks for the time. And your dog, too. And Kelly Remple next hour, and Justin Dunk after this.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop staffed by PGA of Canada professionals is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM-certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big, and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might injure your back in a way that causes nerve damage or partial loss of mobility. Take safer steps with WorkSafeSask.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
We're brawling this team, and the guy yells over the glass, "Go back to the NHL, Preston, you loser." Can't even say it with a straight face.
It was a good beak when we'd roll into a bigger center. They'd say, "Go back to Wynyard. Go back to the NFL where I was making more money and doing that." I'd like to. Thank you very much.
Where I was flying on the charter with the double wide leather seats and the filet mignon.
Yeah, working on it.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hello, Canada and Canadian sports fans around the world. Welcome to Hour 2 of the RP Show. As you see, different environs than normal, and maybe for our listeners, we'll just tell you. We're live from Ballers Rec Room. It is the heart of the Dudney Strip in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, the home of the 109th Grey Cup. And we're on Game Plus television all across Canada, all 10 provinces and 31 U.S. states. And on the radio, WQEE Metro Atlanta. We're talking football. We sprinkled in a lot of NHL and NFL last hour with Rob Vanstone and Darren DuPont. As you see on screen, the affable Justin Dunk of 3downnation.com, the foremost football insider of all of Canada, joining us down here. How you doing, Dunkster?
Doing well, buddy. Ready to light it up this week.
Well, you're in early. You're in early. What's up with that?
Well, we did the Hardy Cup on Saturday with DuPont in Saskatoon, and then just took a little trek down, what is it, Highway 11?
Yes, sir.
To Regina.
The Louis Riel Trail.
There we go.
Very few know that. Yeah.
I like it, man, and here we are in Regina.
Dink and dunk.
Yeah.
I'm using it.
Do it.
My family and I came up with that on the weekend, watching NFL on Sunday. But you tell me that Tim McAuliffe of Tim and Friends was first to the punch on Dink and Dunk.
He was, yeah. But that's okay. It has a ring to it.
Yes, absolutely. So it's the first of a week-long list of shows here. It would be a disservice to say this is the dress rehearsal, but we got down here early, got it all set up, and dare I say, not a bad setup for the first day, huh? Here at Ballers?
It looks slick, man. This place is awesome. First time I've been here. All the games are lit up. I'm ready to play, man. Can't wait till the party Friday night.
Well, from Nelson, our VP of Sim Events writes in, he says, Ballers makes a good backdrop. Does it ever? That's over Justin's back there, obviously. What do we got here? From Clay and Brandon, Manitoba. The Dunkster. I love it. What is your nickname? The Dunkster?
I just roll with whatever anybody wants to say.
I often say Canadian football runs on Duncan.
I like that. I like that. Let's trademark that.
Yeah. Well, let's start this way, and we can sashay back to the National Football League because it was, week 10 in the NFL, and there was a lot of fun there. But listen, this is the best time of the year in Canadian football, and you love it. And we have Toronto, Winnipeg, opposing each other for the 7th time in CFL history in a Grey Cup. So take it away, man. What was your thoughts on Division Final Sunday?
I wasn't really surprised by anything. I felt like Toronto could play well. I think they're underrated in terms of their depth on the offensive line, and spectacular wouldn't be a way to describe their offense, but I think they're solid. McLeod Bethel-Thompson is kind of emerging into upper tier of quarterbacks in the CFL. And then on defense, they got Enoch Guamba, Jaguar Davis, going to a 6th straight Grey Cup. Like, guys that know how to win. And, of course, Winnipeg knows a little thing or two about winning as well. Zach Collaros in his leg, foot, ankle might be a little bit of a concern to some people out there, but I've known him a long time. He's trained hard. He'll be fine. He'll be starting in the Grey Cup.
So there you go, Toronto versus Winnipeg, and we're just getting warmed up about, talking about it all week long. Justin referenced the party here Friday night, hosted by Twisted Tea and Ballers Rec Room. We will have the biggest group, it would seem, of CFL stars that are going to be down here, Hall of Famers, TSN greats, obviously yourself. A lot of fans and viewers welcome to come down. Go to eventbrite.com, look up Ballers or Grey Cup. You'll see it on the list of events. We'd love to see you down here on Friday night. What about this matchup of Toronto Argonauts versus Winnipeg Blue Bombers? Is it something the CFL would like? Is it a sexy enough matchup?
I think it is when you consider the Andrew Harris angle. He wants to prove Winnipeg wrong for letting him go in the offseason, parting ways, however you want to describe it. And I think on the other side, you have the intrigue with them facing Harris in a Grey Cup. Both of these sides, I'm talking about Andrew Harris and the Bombers, going for 3 straight Grey Cups. So I think Harris wants to prove that the longevity's there. He can still get it done in this game. We've seen what he's done in the past in the Grey Cup, and then Winnipeg on the other side trying to show that they can do it without him. Brady Oliveira really stepped up in that West Final. Looks like an absolute beast. Dare I say the second coming of Harris, because he runs so physical that I think that is very intriguing. I think overall it's good for the league because you got the big market in there in Toronto, even though they're not covered as well as they should be. But it's the best team in the East, so I think ultimately you want the best teams to duke it out, but that's from a divisional perspective. I really feel like the best Grey Cup overall would have been Winnipeg, BC. So I'm a proponent now of getting rid of the divisions, have the 2 best teams in the Grey Cup, because for ratings, intrigue, hype, everything, Roddy, that would be better.
Yeah, well, for sure. And I love these shows. I was just thinking about it in the break. When I say these shows, like from Grey Cup, from Super Bowl, from Stanley Cup Final, they're the easiest shows to do, because all the stars are there, like yourself. I don't have to do much work to get prep. You turn on the cameras and let's go. You know what I mean? That's what's fun about it. Now, I'm going to have a little fun with Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, Nelson Hackowicz goes, I'm looking forward to the offseason. What does Dunk here on the CFL streets? Nelson, I love you, but that's because you're a Rider fan. They don't care about the game. All they care about is their own team. And to be honest with you, they're like all 7 CFL markets that aren't in the Grey Cup. And that's what's fun about this week is the rumors that fly. But it's kind of a disservice, do you not think, to not talk about there's the parties too. Mm-hmm. Like, this isn't just your regular game week. There's the parties, there's the rumors, and then there's the game.
Yeah, I think you got to talk about everything, man. And that's what you do on this show.
Well, that's what we do. Yeah. And he wants to discuss, my cousin Christine, by the way, in Medicine Hat, writes in and she says, I always cheer for the Western team, but not this year. Go Argos. Well, there's an angle. Bomber fans, I've said it, and I love you. I've told you that. You're getting a little annoying. And people are saying you're similar to what the Rider fans became after they started to win. You know what I mean? They were started rubbing it in people's faces, and people get tired of it. Do you see that from Bomber fans a little bit? I do.
They're just enjoying winning, I think.
Yeah,
right?
but that was like 3-4 years ago, man. Like, we're kind of, you'd think they'd be getting used to it.
Yeah, you think so, but it's still fun.
Yeah, it doesn't
You
get
want to
old.
let other people know about it.
It doesn't get old.
No.
And so to appease Nelson, because I do love him. Do you know Nelson? You must have met him somewhere.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of his stuff on Twitter, too.
Right, he's a dude. To appease him, let's talk about that. The one big thing, let's start with the Bombers, is Mike O'Shea comes in here, their head coach, who I can't believe in the game notes he's won 6 Grey Cups already. It's ridiculous.
Insane.
He was in the Hall of Fame before he even won one as the head coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, but he doesn't have a contract. The agents are bringing that up to me. What should we read into that?
I don't think it matters. He's gone through this twice now in the past where he played out that final year of his contract, and the one thing it gives O'Shea is flexibility. There are coaches on the other side of it that might want to be locked in with that guaranteed money, but if he wins a 3rd straight Grey Cup, he's going to be able to say, back up the Brinks truck, empty out the bank account if you're Winnipeg. I think they could to keep him, or some of these other teams are going to potentially come after him. Like there's one opening already in Ottawa. Some people are talking about, does Danny Machocha come back off the sidelines and hire a coach in Montreal? There's even been speculation, although I don't think it'll happen now that Ryan Dinwiddie's in the Grey Cup, that Michael Pinball Clemens would want to try to bring O'Shea to Toronto. But I think ultimately he's got his family settled in Winnipeg. But that said, he still wants the flexibility and the leverage. He's very comfortable in these situations. He knows he's going to have a job and get paid well one way or another.
3 Down Nation CFL insider Justin Dunk is with us, and he is the man. From our viewers, Patrolman Pete in Winnipeg says, don't hate, appreciate, regarding Bomber fans. I get it. It's just people do, there's a fine line between exuberance and cockiness. They're right on it. John Ohm in Winnipeg says, cocky to be good, good to be cocky. Bomber fans have the right. Actually, the phrase is lucky to be good or good to be lucky, not cocky. But the line from our exclusive betting partner, Bet Regal, opening the week, is Winnipeg by 4.5. How do you feel about that line?
I'd be taking the Argos, especially if I get more points.
Do you think they'll win the game?
I think it could be a close one. Winnipeg probably wins. They've shown they can pull it out in the clutch, but you're giving me 4.5 at the jump. And the last 2 times these teams have played, most recently this year, it was a close ball game. And Toronto gave Winnipeg really their only loss in 21, where the Bombers were playing at full go before they had locked up the West Division so early. So that's why I like it from a matchup perspective. I think Andrew Harris's physicality and the fact that he wants to prove Winnipeg wrong are really going to add some extra juice to this team. You talk to anybody around the Argos, McLeod Bethel-Thompson is a guy that's been preaching it. They want to win for Andrew Harris and the leadership that he's brought. So I like getting the points.
There you go. How about that? Winnipeg favored by 4.5 at BetRegal.net, the exclusive sports book of the RP show and the Canadian Football League. We'll get to the Bo Levi rumors, Ryder rumors, Fajardo, and so forth. Viewer Curtis Fallman says, Mike O'Shea wants to be a TSN analyst. I would do my best Donald Trump impression and go, you are fake news. Mike O'Shea hates cameras.
Hates the media.
Hates microphones, wants nothing to do with it. Why would you say that, Curtis? That is misleading news. There's no way.
No, never.
Now, Bo wants to be on TSN. I'm not sure how soon that'll be. What do you got for breaking news, Clark? What do you got? Oh, wow. I got it here. Bo Levi's rights have been traded to the Hamilton Tiger Cats. You were aware of that?
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
there was some talks going on.
Okay, whoa, stop the presses! Bo Levi's rights traded to the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Listen, we're all sitting around here at Ballers. You know this is a Rough Rider stronghold, right, Ricky? They had their year-end party here, for God's sakes. And we're all sitting here saying, yeah, see, Dunk's gone to his phone. You tell me when you're ready again.
Good to go, man.
They're sort of like if the Riders don't get Bo Levi, they're sunk. Tell our viewers what it means that Calgary traded Bo's rights to Hamilton from a football operations perspective.
So they have exclusive negotiation rights with Bo Levi Mitchell until free agency in February. There's been no date set for free agency yet, but it gives the Ticats a chance to talk to Mitchell and ideally come contract terms. I'd heard that this was a possibility because you look at a bunch of the things that could line up. There's a lot of young playmakers there, a solid offensive line, a stout defense, and really all they were missing this year was quarterback play, not turning the ball over. So there was a lot of talk about this, and actually it's funny, I was going to talk about this on your show, but it's actually happened quicker than I thought, about this potentially happening after Grey Cup and the Tiger Cats really taking a swing in a year where next year Hamilton hosts the Grey Cup. Think about this. If you're Bo Levi Mitchell, you go into Hamilton, which is a hotbed for football. They love their Tiger Cats, and you win a Grey Cup and that longest drought in the CFL currently, haven't won since 1999, you'd be an instant legend. And I think part of the reason why he could be turned off from Saskatchewan is they don't hire an experienced OC. The offensive line needs a lot of work, and those are two main differences where you look at Hamilton. O-line is solid. They have playmakers. The defense is there. And Orlando Steinauer has proven he can take his teams to the Grey Cup. And, oh, by the way, it's the East Division. You got to win, 7, 8, 9 games just to even get in the playoffs. Probably 9 you're hosting a playoff game.
Again, did you hear the news, Brucey? The Calgary Stampeders have traded Bo Levi Mitchell's rights to the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Let's be honest. There's Ticats fans watching right now. Eric Thomas says, I knew it. Thank you. Ticats get Bo Levi. Listen, just because we're in a Rider stronghold here right now, Saskatchewan, this significantly hoots the green and white. If they want Bo, which I assume they do. What do you know about that?
You would have to imagine they would, but the reason why I think Mitchell would be even more turned off from Saskatchewan is I'm hearing the potential, at least, or rumors, that Kelly Jeffrey could be made the OC. He's the only guy that they retained from that offensive staff 1 season ago, and that being this year. And you think Mitchell's going to want to go with a guy that's never been an offensive coordinator before? No. So that means that the Riders are either going to have to look at bringing Cody Fajardo back now or taking a serious look at Matthew Schultz. That's the other guy that's a pending free agent that could have some other interest around the league, but he's the only other real potential guy at quarterback that could be available if Mitchell comes to terms with him.
And that's why I think, I exchanged text messages with Cody about 10 days ago, and he is literally not saying anything. There's still that chance that he could come back to Saskatchewan, so he's not going to say anything about anybody. Why would he? It would be bad business if he did.
Makes sense.
That's pretty obvious to everybody that this season didn't end well. But, yeah, for him, you can see why he wouldn't want to say anything until free agency opens for sure. Now, interesting note from Nelson. He says, so this news means that the Grey Cup week freeze on news isn't on yet? Is that a Wednesday through Sunday rule only? Listen, bruh, it's the CFL. It's not a rule. If anything, it's a guideline. But I know what he's talking about. There was, for years, Justin, there was a moratorium on news during Grey Cup week because it took away from the game. And the Ticats and Stamps just they just lit a stink bomb and lobbed it into Grey Cup week.
And that's usually from the teams, right? There's still reporters out there that are digging around, that have stuff ahead of time. So usually the teams have that moratorium, as you said, for Grey Cup week, but it hasn't officially kicked off yet because the teams aren't here.
What, is there a rule?
There is amongst the teams. They won't announce anything officially.
Is it in black and white somewhere, or is it just a guideline?
I think it's unspoken.
Right.
Yeah. You don't upstage the game.
Okay, you don't upstage the game. Well, this just did.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Clay in Brandon says, bring Cody back, please. And that's why I'm not detailing any of what I talked to Cody about, because I want the best for Cody. And if coming back to Saskatchewan is the best for Cody, then good. But from Eric in Hamilton, how awkward would it be to bring Fajardo back? Well, somebody would have to eat a lot of crow. Let's put it that way. Anyways, we'll be back with more with Justin Dunk. Kelly Remple is on the way, too. We're live from Ballers Rec Room. The heart of Grey Cup week is right here, and I'll say it again. The report is out. The Calgary Stampeders have traded the rights for Bo Levi Mitchell to the Hamilton Tiger Cats, so we have certainly kicked off Grey Cup week in fine style. We'll be right back on Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, your favorite podcast platform, and on the radio, your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love. Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM-certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big, and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall. Or you might hit your head and cause a lifelong injury. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might injure your back, resulting in partial loss of mobility. Take safer steps. Find out more at WorksafeSask.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Well, you can consider Grey Cup week officially underway. There's a look outside Mosaic Stadium as we jump into a sports update before we have more with 3 down. Nation's Justin Dunk. The Hamilton Tiger Cats have acquired the rights to pending free agent quarterback Bo Levi Mitchell from the Calgary Stampeders, according to TSN. Mitchell was relegated to the backup role with the Stamps this season behind Jake Mayer, who was signed to an extension in September. Bo played in relief of Jake Mayer in last Sunday's Western semifinal, stating after the game that, quote, the writing is on the wall for his future in Calgary. 6 new names will be officially enshrined into the Hockey Hall of Fame tonight. The class of 2022 includes Ottawa Senators all-time leading scorer Daniel Alfredsson, Canuck greats Roberto Luongo, Daniel and Henrik Sedin, Finnish women's player Rika Salainen, and the late Herb Carnegie in the Builders category. And in the NBA, the Raptors limp into Detroit for a road match with the Pistons. Raps are shorthanded due to injuries to Spicy P, Precious Achiuwa, and Kem Birch. All-star guard Fred VanVleet also remains out with an illness. Game of the night is the Atlanta Hawks at the Milwaukee Bucks, as far as we're concerned. This sports update is for Ballers Rec Room, the home of the greatest party here during Championship Week. Friday night, get your tickets at eventbrite.com. TSN, CFL stars here, and Justin Dunk, I believe. Let's bring in the Dunkster. Also for the Tap Brewhouse and Drive-Thru Liquor Store, where you'll never need to ask to get the CFL game put on, right, boys? Yeah, Thumbs up, they say. And for Red Bull Canada, Red Bull gives you wings. For those that just tuned in on Game Plus or WQEE Radio, Bo Levi Mitchell is of Katy, Texas, and he played at what? Eastern Washington?
That's right.
Can you please again explain to those in the back what it means that Bo's rights were traded? This is significant.
It really is. The Tiger Cats get a window here to come to contract terms with Bo Levi Mitchell. Now, usually when this has happened in the past in the CFL and really other leagues, it ends up where the player's rights that have been traded actually signs a contract. So the Tiger Cats have had interest in Bo Levi Mitchell ever since their season ended. They want to make a push for that Grey Cup in 2023. Bob Young likes shiny things, and Mitchell will certainly move the needle there in Hamilton. So that's what it means. The Ticats have exclusive negotiating rights until free agency, which will be in about mid-February. The CFL hasn't announced an official date yet. So that's, 2.5 months, 3 months from now to get a contract done with him. And I would imagine there's been some terms that have already been loosely discussed between Mitchell and his agent and the Tiger Cats before this acquisition was even going to happen. Because if Hamilton's going to give something up just to get his rights, they want to have an idea that there's at least a better than decent chance they can sign him.
And I would never ask you what the hard and fast numbers are, but when this happens, that player generally does sign with that team.
Yes,
right?
Definitely.
So that's kind of what this leads to, is Bo being a Hamilton Tiger Cat. And you see their viewers are writing in. Yes, Jake Hughes watching Nerdery. The Ticats got Bo. It happened. That's why I just brought it up again, because this is major breaking news today. What do you think it means? You're on the air in Hamilton, CHCH TV, so this is big news down there.
It really is. It's massive.
Is this the only thing they're missing, do you think?
It is. I believe it. You look at that offense, that team, that defense, even on special teams. Orlando Steinauer running the show as a coach. He's shown he's really good. As a football operations person, we'll have to see, but he's ultimately the president of football operations. So you look at the offensive line. They have a young center there in David Beard who's anchoring that group. Brandon Revenberg is up for the Most Outstanding Offensive Lineman Award as the East Division nominee. So that offensive line is solid. Young playmakers there. Tim White really emerged this season, and Bo Levi Mitchell has shown that he can help young guys develop. He's had quite a turnover there in Calgary with receivers coming through the door and helping some of those guys get NFL shots. And then you look at the running back position. They had Wes Hills, who emerged. Don Jackson is familiar to Mitchell. He's a pending free agent, though, but he played with Mitchell in Calgary. They have Sean Thomas Erlington if they want to go Canadian that position as well. They got Stephen Dunbar Jr. They got a lot of intriguing targets on that offense and weapons for Bo to use, and the defense is solid. Dylan Wynn unfortunately suffered an ACL injury, which knocked his season out early, but you expect him to come back there. He's been a mainstay. He loves it. Simone Lawrence has been solid there for the Tiger Cats. They have Cameron Kelly on the strong side linebacker position. They got Tunde Adeleke. They got a great defense there. So I'm sure Mitchell is looking at that team going, they're built to win now. They just need a quarterback.
By the way, the RP show carried all across Ontario and through that Golden Horseshoe region on Rogers Cable, Cogeco Cable, in Quebec on Eastlink and Videotron, and out through the Maritimes, primarily on Rogers and Eastlink. Kevin, the medium, watching just outside Calgary, he says, what a smart move by the Stampeders. Shut the door on their division rival, the Riders. That's the other side of this, right?
It really is. There was a chance, or at least the Rough Riders wanted to go after Bo Levi Mitchell. And if you're Calgary, you're thinking, why would we trade him to a division rival? Only if that was the single offer that you had. But the Tiger Cats felt like they needed to get out in front of this, get a deal done so they could beat the Riders to the punch. But still, if you're John Huffnagel sitting back there, you're going, I'm not trading Mitchell away to a division rival. Doesn't make any sense at all, especially with how good he looked at the end of that West semifinal.
Well, and to those that are, I've never met Bo. I've been around him, but for those that know him, they say Bo likes to be the man. You go ahead and check your phone. It's a busy. You go ahead. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't offend me. He likes to be the man. Now, he'd have been the man if he'd signed with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, which is the Dallas Cowboys of the CFL, but he would be the man in Hamilton, as Justin has just pointed out. So, yeah, that's huge, earth-shattering news in the Canadian Football League. Now, the teams have not officially announced this, from what I understand. You correct me, Justin, if I am wrong, but yet. It's TSN's reporting it. So, Jake in Calgary wants to know, what did the Stamps receive for Bo's rights? Anything worth noting? Do we know that?
That's what I'm on the case.
Yeah,
of
you're
right
on
now.
that right now. Yeah. So we don't have that. And by the way, just to divert, and thank you, Jeff in Winnipeg, for that. He says, and just like that, the Miami Dolphins are first in the AFC East. Man, oh man. Are we talking hashtag fins up right now? I'm afraid, I don't even know. Do I go down this road with you, Justin, anymore, or do you got to get on this Bo story?
No,
Are you
let's
good?
roll. I can do two things at once.
Well, for one, I want to switch to the NFL story in a second, but I just, for our American listeners and viewers, explain to them what 3downnation.com is. You're the proprietor. You run it. It's the greatest website in Canadian football. But you cover NFL, Canadians in the NFL, and we have a great relationship here because I have a lot of Eastern viewers that found out about this show thanks to 3Down, and maybe the other way around. It's a good energy. It's a good partnership,
Definitely,
right?
my man, yes.
So just tell our that aren't familiar, particularly those listening in Atlanta right now, because you're all ball all the time. 3downnation.com.
That's right, all about football. Even though it's 3 Down Nation, we still cover the 4 down variety.
Right.
Mainly focus on the CFL, but we cover the NFL, Chase Claypool, Chuba Hubbard, Josh Palmer, guys like that, Alex Singleton, guys who come from this CFL go down to the NFL.
Did you say Jevon Holland? Did you say Jevon Holland?
Javon Holland, who might be the best Canadian in the NFL right now. He's been a stud for the Miami Dolphins, so we cover all of those guys. We cover any stars in the NCAA, like Chase Brown right now, who's lighting it up for Illinois, and his brother, Sidney Brown, who's on that team as well. And then we cover youth sports, so like the Saskatchewan Huskies making another run to the Vanier Cup. We'll have that coverage as well. So if it's football and it's anything related to Canada, we're all over it.
Yeah. Here's what we're going to do, guys, because the Remple Temple is here. If you can go to a one-shot on me, we'll let you go and do your thing. Thanks for the 30 minutes you spent.
Yeah, man, you bet, buddy.
Okay, Justin Dunk. The man, one half of Dink and Dunk. Justin Dunk. So, and we'll let you scoot out, and we'll bring in the Silver Fox, and then we'll keep the party going. We'll tell you that New York Fries is a proud member of the Calgary community. And to give back, they're hosting free public skating opportunities at ice rinks around Calgary, open to families and the general public in support for Kids Sport Calgary. Visit FamilySkateYYC.com for a full list of times and locations presented by New York Fries. Are you pounding a donut? Are you able to slide on in here right now? Yeah. You good? Yeah. Wash that down with some coffee and let's go. See, this is why we said these are the funnest shows of the year, but also the easiest shows, whether it be Grey Cup, Stanley Cup Finals, Super Bowl. Look at that. Hey. That's for you, brother. This guy is very popular. He is
eating a donut.
He is eating a donut. The former manager of Bret the Hitman Hart, alum of CTV, the Pats, the Warriors, Western Pizza, Moose Jaw. What else? What am I missing?
And the Rod Pedersen.
And the Rod Pedersen show. Well, you're not alumni. You're on the team. You're on the team, particularly when we're here in the sweatpants capital. Are you good? Do you need a coffee or anything?
Well, maybe during the next commercial break, I'll wash the donut down. I'll have some cream and sugar.
Okay. Can we get the man a coffee with some cream and sugar? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That was his idea, not mine. I'm not as needy as him.
Rems literally walked in, took his coat off. I'm like, get on the air. But he pounded a donut first. What? You heard the news.
What news? No.
Bo Levi Mitchell's rights have been traded from the Calgary Stampeders to the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Really?
Now they have exclusive right to negotiate with him ahead of February. Now,
doesn't mean he's going to be there, though.
Now, Dunk and I were just saying in this scenario, the guy usually ends up signing.
Yeah, and usually there's a conversation that takes place before as well. Like, if they thought that there was absolutely zero chance that he's interested in being there, they probably wouldn't have done the deal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
Within the last 30 minutes.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's kicking off Grey Cup week in style. And thank you very much, Moose. I appreciate that. Do you want to go to the third? You want to bring in the... He's going around the back.
Look at DuPont. What a guy.
He's the best, man.
Yeah, double-double. You're a good man. You know what I've noticed?
Tell me.
I've noticed that when you go get coffee almost anywhere now, they refer to it as double-double, whereas it used to be an exclusive Tim's thing.
Yeah.
But I went to a McDonald's the other day and ordered a coffee. I said, 2 cream and 2 sugar. And the lady on the headset
Double-double?
says, oh, you mean double-double? I'm like... I wasn't sure I was supposed to say that here, but okay.
Tim should have trademarked it.
You know what? I think there's a dictionary somebody told me that says double-double It's actually in the dictionary now. I don't know if that's true, but...
So from the viewers, Wayne in Victoria, BC says, "Hey, Kelly Remple, great to see him on the RP show." Well, great to be seen, right?
Yeah,
friends?
of course. And I love coming here, so what the heck? Especially
two
this
ballers
week.
Are on the RP
well,
show?
both. I wonder if I could take a few cuts in the batting cage later.
Oh, this place is so great. I can't remember who the heck I was talking to. Somebody in Calgary. Oh, it was Benny Hebert.
Oh, yeah.
Who had said how much he loves Ballers and all of the great things that there are to do down here.
My son and I love it.
The driving force.
Oh, yeah.
Don Mitchell, our Navy friend, says Justin Dunk is a very approachable young man. Great voice for Canadian football. So we're...
And a smart man.
And young.
And a connected man.
And young.
Yes.
Yeah. Now you feeling good? You got the
I
donut
felt good.
washed?
I felt great when I came in. I just wasn't expecting to be sitting in the chair this quick.
I know. Well,
we're moving and shaking.
Well, it's what my brother said that he loves about this show. Anything can happen at any time.
Which brother?
Leroy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Denver
I don't
misses
think
the
he
show.
likes me very much.
He doesn't like anybody very much.
Remember that? Remember that time we kind of went off about the
Stampede?
Yeah, he's held that against me for what, 13 years?
Well, he's pro horse. He's pro cowboy.
He's a good man.
Listen, don't ever bring that up again.
No, okay,
because
sorry.
I've just kissed so much butt in Calgary. I don't need them to dig that up. That MP3 of what we said about that.
Sorry.
Have you ever been to the Calgary Stampede?
Yes.
It's something.
No, it's amazing. It's you know what? I don't think unless you've actually been there that you have a true appreciation of the magnitude of how big that event actually is.
I had no idea, buddy.
Yeah.
No clue.
Yeah, it's been a few years, but I've been twice actually.
Well, I think they're all the same is the sense that I get. But again, you talk about my brother. His wife is a cowgirl. So I was telling her just this weekend, I said, I don't know that I'm going to go back to the Stampede. It's too wild. And she's like, that's not the Cowboys. That's the city people acting like cowboys. I said, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's still too wild.
It's like when the guy that works in an office once a year puts on his vest and his chaps and he gets on his motorbike and drives to Sturgis, but he's not on that bike any one of the other 300.
Weekend warriors, we call them. Right?
One weekend a year in some cases.
And they go crazy. Yeah. The Silver Fox is here, and this is just batting practice. We'll get into the rest when we return. Yeah, see, here we go. Ted in Red Deer says, how about a WWF story from Kelly? He's got 1 million.
I got lots.
Yeah, so we'll get into all of that.
I got one from a week ago, if you really
The
want.
anniversary. I know what you're talking about. We'll be right back to Ballers Rec Room in a moment. It's the RP Show. Grey Cup week is underway here on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
I gotta hit the beat.
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might injure your knee, leading to a permanent disability. Take safer steps. Learn more at worksafesask.ca.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
All right, we're back live here at, I almost said Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. No, Ballers Rec Room, as we have switched locales for this week. The 109th Grey Cup coming up in 7 days. The Toronto Argonauts versus the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And the viewers have asked for some WWF stories. We're going to get into those with Kelly. But I got to say this. Viewer Nelson has reminded me of something, Remps. The man who was Bret Hart's manager, CTV alumni, Pats, Warriors, and a myriad of other things. Has this upstaged Grey Cup by Bo Levi Mitchell being traded from Calgary to Hamilton? Is a dirty pool in a way?
No. I think, if anything, it gives people something more to talk about during Grey Cup week. I don't see the problem.
I don't have a problem with it, but there was always this moratorium in my 20 years.
Don't make any major announcements Grey Cup week to deflect off the game. But I think right now the CFL should take any conversation that they can get, to be honest.
What makes you say that?
I think that any talk that a league that's struggling to get people interested, to get people butts in seats, to get any kind of hype should never turn down any kind of an opportunity for anybody to talk. So if people are talking this week about something other than the game, but it's still CFL oriented, like better this than some huge NFL announcement or some other sporting announcement. Why not talk about the CFL?
Devin, watching in Burns Lake, BC, agrees. He said the CFL needs it. So, yeah, I hope they agree, and I don't think they would be upset with this announcement at all today. And apparently an official announcement's coming shortly from the Stampeders and the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but Bo Levi's been traded to the Ticats. I can't believe it. And this is not good news for the Riders, whom I believe really wanted him. But we got a whole week to talk about that. Jeff Cabillas in Winnipeg says, I guess Kelly is also the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. What a wonderful segue to the excellence of execution. Your good friend, Bret Hart.
Yep. Was with him 2 weeks ago, actually.
How's he doing?
Doing great. His son, Dallas, actually is starting up a kind of a Stampede Wrestling-ish type of promotion where I think they're going to run quarterly shows. There's actually talk that we might be doing a little tour, like Edmonton, Saskatoon, Regina, kind of do like a little square of Calgary.
I saw
Edmonton.
You were in the squared circle here recently.
I was doing the ring announcing. That they had a local Calgary celebrity apparently that they'd arranged to do it, and at about 2:00 in the afternoon, he gives word I can't make it. So
this might be your shot to start it.
Well, I don't know about that, but I had lots of fun. It was great. I tell you, you want a real quick story. It never really ceases to amaze me just the absolute legendary status or appreciation that people within the business have for Bret Hart. It's unbelievable, and I experienced it again. Just when I think the guy can't get any more over with that community, we walked into the old remember, you watched lots of Stampede Wrestling as a kid, the old Victoria Pavilion in Calgary. It's a legendary place. We come walking in, and we drive through the entrance, and the guy working the booth, "Oh, hey, Brett, how you doing? Go ahead." And we pull in, and the security guy comes over to him and shakes his hand. We walk into the thing. We walk into, from where the dressing rooms are, open up the doors, and there's the ring that's been set up, and all of the wrestlers on the card. These guys are from all over the place. They're all waiting for him to arrive so he can kind of go over some of the finishes and some of that kind of stuff. All of these wrestlers, it was like, oh, shh. And like the man walked into the room, everybody was quiet. They all rod. I'm not kidding you. They stood in a line like at a wedding, and they shook his hand, and it was like The Godfather. And I'm standing there kind of watching at a distance, watching this going like, this guy is literally a god to those young...
The Wayne Gretzky of wrestling.
Yep,
How about that?
He really is. It was amazing to be part of it. I loved it.
So is that where you were announcing?
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Last minute, hey, our ring announcer didn't show up. Do you want to be the ring announcer? I'm like, in 2 hours? So I had
Did you have clothes?
How about
Look
that?
in the photo like you had the proper...
I dressed up a little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't have a suit
tuxedo?
on. No. It wasn't really that kind of crowd.
This is like George Strait, a last-minute fill-in for Eddie Rabbit at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo.
That's a bit of an upgrade.
That's how George... Nobody knew who George was at that event. Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. I like it.
I love Eddie Rabbit. I love a rainy night.
Listen what we're going to do. Next segment, we'll finish it off with CFL talk, as we are here for the 109th Grey Cup and all week here at Ballers Rec Room. However, I saw your tweet. I follow you on Twitter. You just said that one day last week was the anniversary of the Bret Hart, Vince McMahon.
25 years, yeah.
Yeah, fallout in the Centre
the
Bell.
Montreal screw job.
Bell Center.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what it was called at that time.
Bell Center.
Was it?
Yeah.
You've got here 4 minutes. Can you get that story done in 4 minutes?
Yeah. So I was sitting, I don't know if you're familiar with a lawyer by the name of Gord Kirk. He was Lendros's big agent.
I flew to Nashville with him right beside him one time. Long story.
So that was Brett's lawyer at the time. We had ringside seats with Brett's family. So to make a really long story short, they couldn't agree to a finish, so they swerved Brett on the finish, and it's chaos, and there's pandemonium, and it's just nuts. And I remember Gord leans over to me, and he says, "Do you think that was supposed to happen?" And I said, "I know that wasn't supposed to happen." So we go down into the bowels. We've got our accreditation, so they're letting us in. And I literally, one of my, I guess, I don't know if you call it a claim to fame or not, but I was literally standing outside the dressing room when Vince McMahon walked into the dressing room, and I remember going, oh my goodness, this isn't going to end well. And about 10 or 15 minutes later, and I have the picture on my Twitter account. Somebody took a shot of it and circled me in the photo to make me laugh a few years ago, but I kept it. Vince McMahon comes walking out of the dressing room looking like the Elephant Man.
Been punched.
And Brett warned him like 3 times, listen, I don't want to see you right now. Like, you swerved me in front of my friends, my family,
and my
home.
Can you explain the term swerve?
Well, in wrestling, I think the cat's clearly out of the bag. If you and I are wrestling one another, we put the match together, but the finish is decided by the promoter or the people in the suits that decide who's going to win and who's going to lose. And Brett was not supposed to lose. So in the middle of the Shawn Michaels putting Bret Hart in a sharpshooter, he was supposed to reverse the hold and come out of it, and there was supposed to be another 25 minutes to the match. But the referee was told to just ring the bell and make it look like Brett gave up, which he didn't, and he didn't know. You just don't do that. In that business, you don't change finishes without telling the talent. So it was an ultimate insult. So Vince goes in the dressing room, and Brett warns him, and apparently after about the 3rd warning, I remember him telling me, well, I've just threatened this guy, I kind of have to, like, all the boys are watching. Are you going to be like every other wrestler that threatened to punch Vince but never had the ballers to do it? So he walked over to him and they tied up and he wound back and dropped him.
You saw it?
And I didn't see the punch. Like I said, I was out in the
You're
hallway,
outside,
but they opened up the door and Vince, who's a big, big, big man, he looked like he just drank a 40 of whiskey. Like he was
buckled.
Yeah, he was not in a good. And I just remember on the Wrestling with Shadows documentary, there's a picture of me standing in the hallway with Vince McMahon wobbling all over the place, walking down the hallway. And just to be part of that, it's still to this day surreal. I can't believe it was 25 years
I think your
ago.
voice is in that. I watched it.
Yeah, it
You're
was.
Like,
yeah.
Vince
did you just knock out Vince McMahon with a punch?
I remember that.
Yeah.
So there you go. So when we come back,
funny stuff.
One final segment in overtime. Lots of time for you and your questions. 902-518-3033. He's a man of many talents. He can answer several questions. So we'll do that when we return. It's the RP Show on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and now on the radio, your Southern Home of Sports and Talk, WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Your family needs a break. Delta Hotels Saskatoon welcomes you to our newly renovated hotel and water park. You deserve a vacation close to home. Enjoy world-class hospitality and upscale surroundings. Rediscover Saskatoon. You can enjoy time away from home right in your own city. The kids will love the water slide. Delta Hotels Saskatoon downtown. All the essentials and then some.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
It's Monday of Grey Cup week, and have a look. We're just getting rolling. We are live at Ballers Rec Room, and by the way, tickets are on sale for what's turning out to be the best party of the week. Friday night, Twisted Tea is putting it on. The trophy will be here. You can get your photos taken with it with the CFL stars, broadcast stars of the Canadian Football League. Go to eventbrite.com, search Grey Cup, and you'll see it on the list of activities. The Silver Fox, Kelly Remple, is here, and before we get to viewer comments and questions, some have come in on the 902 line. I've just received word that Ryder Korzak has been returned to the Moose Jaw Warriors.
Yeah.
And people tell me that they love this show because of the junior hockey talk that we have. I don't think anybody talks more CFL or junior talk than us, and it's a big move.
Oh, it's huge. That, I'm been a little bit surprised and disappointed this year with the Warriors. Not that they've been horrible or lousy, but I was expecting more. And I think this move is big because you're talking about one of the premier pure offensive talents in the league, and that gives you now an excellent 1-2 punch at center over your top couple of lines. To think that Atlee Calvert would probably be your third line center is unreal. So that will help Moose Jaw big time.
Pats on the road are my team, which Kelly worked for too.
I love the Pats too.
All
I
those
worked
years
for both teams.
that I grinded you know it was just fun, right? You know that.
Of course. Got a little testy a couple times.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the playoffs that one year? Dyson Stevens?
We care.
We're passionate.
Yeah. Pats at the Winnipeg Ice this week, Thursday, Saturday. They're getting out a dog. Probably smart. From the 902 line regarding Grey Cup week, Steve Smith in Winnipeg texted. He goes, "It was just awesome to be at IG Field yesterday. The crowd was just electric. Excited to come to Regina this weekend for the Grey Cup." From Barry Alt. You know Barry?
I don't think
he was
so.
Taylor Field manager for years and years and years. He says, "I know that Mosaic has a few dressing rooms, but will the Bombers get the Riders? If so, ouch. Ultimate insult." Well, number one, the Riders have done that to teams. We did it to the Stamps in Calgary. We did it to the Eskimos in Edmonton. So that's kind of the way it goes, Kel. I would assume the Bombers would have the Rider locker room. What?
I have to laugh. Our friend Theo Fleury. Remember a couple of years ago when there was a picture on Twitter during COVID, during the Edmonton or the Calgary Flames were in the Edmonton Oilers dressing room, and there's the Flames jerseys all around the room with the big Oiler decal and the logo on the carpet in the middle of the room, and Theo texts out, "I would have changed in the hallway." And then some guy says, "Oh, you'd love to play with Connor McDavid, wouldn't you?" And Theo responds with, "What, and be a minus player my whole career?"
How about that?
Every time I think about teams, rivals in other teams' dressing rooms, it takes me back to Theo. Oh, funny.
Listen, you know he was just, or maybe you don't, he was just on the show with us last week.
Oh, I know.
And people were losing it on me, and I'm like,
why?
You know why.
Yeah, but
Canadians for Truth, anti-vax. I'm like, he's just a friend who, as you know, has walked through fire, literally, in his life. You don't abandon your friends. I love him. You love him. How can you not?
No, I know. I think I kind of get, though, if there are times, though, in fairness, that people come to a show like this to get away from that stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's their escape.
I know.
So I kind of understand why it would rub some people the wrong way. But, it's Theo, so we love him, so we forgive him for that nonsense.
Ryan I do. Yeah, Ryan in Saratoga, New York says, "Wow, that's hysterical." Yes, it was hysterical. Okay, they're talking about Bret Hart. They're talking about Vince McMahon. Kelly, you really stirred him up here today.
Well, you set me up.
Yeah.
You robbed me a softball.
Sorry about that. Jake in Airdrie writes in, and he says, "It's all insane. In a world where content is king, we don't have any content from the CFL." Well, there is some. It's just not a lot. And where we started on this was the Bombers being in the Rider locker room. And no matter how the Riders view it, if I think you have to give up your locker room if you're not in the game. I think.
I honestly don't know
Maybe
how
it's
that
changed. Things do change over the years, too.
Yeah.
But I haven't even asked you about the game. We talked about the big trade earlier. Bo Levi Mitchell is now a Hamilton Tiger Cat. How about that?
I just had a thought. If you play in the game, then you get your dressing room. How's that? So the Riders could have solved that problem if they were playing in the game. We wouldn't have to worry. But they're not playing in the game. In fact, they didn't make the playoffs.
If you have a problem, make the play.
Play in the game.
Yeah.
And you can have your dressing room just like you normally do.
From Jeff in Winnipeg says, I bet Kelly knows how to get out of the sharpshooter. Do you?
No.
Okay. Would you want to talk about the Riders missing the playoffs or this upcoming Grey Cup game? Or do you want to come back later in the week and we can talk about this Grey Cup game?
We can talk about whatever you want.
Who do you think will win? Winnipeg, Toronto?
Sometimes you just... The team that's just the overwhelming better team, unless something crazy happens, I just don't see a scenario where Winnipeg doesn't win.
They're favored by 4.5 as we open the week.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Should be more?
Oh, 100%. 4.5. So they're expecting a really close football game.
Within a touchdown, which the division finals weren't close.
That shocks me. I thought it would have been a 7.5.
Producer Clark tells me that, well, number one, John in Edmonton says, what's that documentary, Kelly, that you were in?
Wrestling with Shadows.
Wrestling with Shadows. Look it up. Riders missing the playoffs. Riders overall. What are they doing? Where are they going? You have a little over a minute.
Well, this year was a disaster. I mean, let's call it what it was. And I love the people involved in it, but I mean, you'd be kidding yourself.
Last minute of play.
You'd be kidding yourself to say anything other than that was just a colossal screw up.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I'm not shocked that they weren't one of the top teams, but to miss the playoffs and quite frankly, the second half of the season play as poorly as they did after they got off to a pretty good start. Aren't they 4-1 to start the year? And for the Wheels to just fall off the way that they did, I don't know how anybody could call yourself a Rider fan and not be really disappointed. So, I mean, I don't know what to say. It was very disappointing.
Corey Patterson's watching in Tallahassee, Florida, and he says, blown away that he was there for the most deserved knockout punch of all time. I just watched it again during the break. So Patty's watching. So there you go.
I could go anywhere and people want to talk about that.
Thanks, Sizzla. Have a great week, Rems. Thanks for coming down.
Always fun. Always fun.
See the rest of you tomorrow, noon Eastern, here at Ballers on Game Plus and WQEE.
Who has more fun than us?
Hot damn! Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Got a full week.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Great.